The Simpsons did it. The Simpsons did it.
Did it.
That's right. The Simpsons predicted every horrible thing that's ever happened in the history of America and the world. You thought it was a long-running episodic television show about an American family. No! It was actually a way to drop little clues into everyone's frontal cortex to make you sheep, to make you prepared for things like COVID, 9/11, and Jeffrey Epstein himself. Oh, that's right. We did our research by opening
Too many tabs. Remember to smile.
Welcome to Too Many Tabs, a podcast where a husband and wife duo sit next to each other at a table. And this week, y'all, you're not going to believe it, I did the research.
That's right. I took a week off and I put you in charge.
Yeah, and you know what I did?
What?
I found a way to connect the Simpsons to the Epstein files.
No, what? I told you no Epstein files.
That's right. That's right. I figured out a grand conspiracy involving the Simpsons and COVID and 9/11 and Donald Trump.
Wait, I thought The Simpsons is a cartoon.
Yeah, The Simpsons is a cartoon that has been airing on Fox television stations since 1989, and it's about a family, a lovable middle-class American family. But it might have a dark and nefarious history that might be reaching deep inside of our psyches that are showing clues involved with the Illuminati.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Oh, don't have a cow, man. Cowabunga. No, those are all code words, maybe, possibly, according to the internet.
Okay, well, we don't listen to the internet. The internet's full of craziness.
Oh, we don't listen to the internet? Guess where we are right now, Mrs. P? We're on the internet, and people are listening to us.
Oh, no.
Yeah, oh, no, I was right.
So tell me about The Simpsons.
What do you want to know about The Simpsons?
Okay, so you said it was 1989. How old is The Simpsons?
The Simpsons debuted on December 17th, 1989.
Okay, so The Simpsons, the show itself is a millennial.
Yes.
Okay, it's
yes.
like 36 years old.
Yes, it's 36 years, 2 months, and 7 days since its debut.
Okay, got
That's
it.
13,207 days.
That's a lot. That's a lot of content hours.
That is a ton of content hours. In fact, actually, if you put together all of the minutes between the 805 episodes, the feature-length movie, that is 17,797 minutes of content.
That's so much content.
I'm not even counting watched hours, by the way, which is considered lost productivity when you look at it from a, businessman's mind.
Well, I want everyone that's listening to Too Many Tabs to lean into lost productivity.
Poop at work.
Listen at work. Poop at work.
Yeah.
Steal some employer cash.
Yeah, just take...
Buy time. Don't actually steal.
No, steal too.
No, don't steal.
But no, rob your boss.
No.
Rob your boss of time.
There you go, of time.
Yeah, it's reverse wage theft.
Yeah, that's
all
what
right?
we're talking about.
You know what? Why? Some of you are sitting in a cubicle right now. Take your hands off the keyboard for a second. Put them on your hips.
That's nice.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Dad stance.
Look left, look right, then look at yourself and think, should I be doing this? Yes. Anyway, The Simpsons has had tons of writers.
Yeah.
They've made tons of content. They've had so many goofs and gaffes and gags and all these different things that The Simpsons are kind of like monkeys with typewriters, right?
Yeah.
They're just writing infinitely of all these different things, and it's driven people to realize The Simpsons did it.
What do you mean?
Well, okay, there's a whole South Park episode where, like, every time a character is trying to come up with something, he yells, another character literally yells,
Did it.
and it's like a gag for that episode.
Got it.
But at the other side of things is it's driven people insane because people have seen goofs and gags and bits and even whole plot lines from The Simpsons, and they believe that they are actually clues that the Simpsons writers are connected to the Illuminati and that they're trying to warn America and the world of future plots to destroy maybe like democracy or the world.
Okay. Why? Okay, so if I was Illuminati,
If you're Illuminati.
I'm not,
Okay.
I wouldn't give out sprinkles of secrets.
Well, then you're not fun.
No, I would be part of a secret cabal of people trying to take over the world. Why would I waste time telling anyone?
Well, I want you to know something.
Yeah.
Is people already do believe that about you. A lot of people believe you're actually an AI that I created to be able to control things through the DNC.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's people who believe that the Illuminati or the CIA or other massive conspiracies can't help but turn into the Riddler from Batman.
Yeah, they got to tell you all the bad things they're going to do right before they do them.
Yeah, they have to drop around clues. In fact, there's this comedian named Nick Mullen. He has a very funny bit about the $20 bill. If you fold it up in a certain way, it looks like the Twin Towers are exploding from 9/11.
Okay.
And so he has this bit where he's like, now it's time for the best part of the conspiracy, the clues.
CIA was like, okay, plan's ready to go. Ready to blow up the World Trade Center. There's only one step left. the clues.
Here I go cluing again. It's a great bit, and I really enjoy it. And you don't know who Nick Mullen is.
No.
But you love Stavros.
Love Stavi.
Stavi used to do a podcast with Nick Mullen and Adam Friedland.
Okay, I know who Adam Friedland.
Yeah, so the three of them used to have a podcast called Come Town.
Okay, that's a choice of a name.
It was definitely a choice of a name, all right? It wasn't as advertiser-friendly as Too Many Tabs.
Yeah, that's right.
But they were also supported by their Patreon, the same way we're supported by a Patreon at pearlmania500.net.
Nice.
Join
Nice
for
innovation.
ad-free content. But what I was going to say, though, is he makes a very good point, which is that people have this idea that there's a subconscious level of malevolency out there that just can't help but drop clues and hints of these things that are in the works.
Okay.
Some people also believe that these are like seeding ideas into the culture through the television.
Okay.
These are just things that they want to plant this seed to go ahead and pre-normalize it.
Got it.
I've found 10 times.
So your top 10 list.
This is a top 10 list.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's a listicle episode, baby.
Woo!
So this is top 10 times that the Simpsons have predicted something in the future.
Okay, cool.
And we're going to start with number 10.
Number 10.
And this is from the year March of 2000.
March of 2000. Okay.
I want you to guess. What do you think the Simpsons would have predicted in March of 2000?
Okay, so it was March. It was cold. It still wasn't sunny out. No,
Yeah.
It's been a long winter.
In 2000.
It's 2000. We survived when they all thought the computers were going to crash.
Y2K. But remember,
Y2K.
here's another thing you have to keep in mind,
Yeah.
actually, is this is a cartoon show.
I was in high school.
Wait, and hold on, real fast. You have to keep in mind that this is a cartoon show. So not only does it have to be written, it then has to be hand animated.
Yeah.
So the animation cells are sent away, and it takes time. It's like 6 months turnaround
Yeah.
sometimes. So while this aired in March,
thought that the Spice Girls were going to break up.
that's honestly great guess. And I love that you live in a place of light. You live in a place of light and joy.
That would have been really sad for me in
In
high
March
school.
of 2000, they predicted the presidency of Donald Trump.
Oh, boo.
Yeah, in the episode Bark to the Future from season 11, episode 17. In this episode, Lisa is predicted to become president of the United States.
Okay, great.
And she is sitting in a cabinet meeting.
Okay.
And she has a throwaway line as she turns to the cabinet tree. She says, and I quote,
As you know, we've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're going to make up this idea of a President Trump in your mind, you know he'd mess up the budget.
but that's the thing. It's like, it's a man who bankrupted casinos all the way back
an
in
impossible
2000.
Task. It's a casino is a thing that takes money, doesn't give money back. How do you bankrupt it?
He figured out a way, and he didn't even pay any of his contractors. But the thing is like this throwaway line has driven people insane.
Okay.
Because they believe from hearing this line that there has always been some sort of secret Illuminati Mossad plot to put Donald Trump in the presidency twice and all these other different things from listening to it. But the thing is, and you have to keep in mind, is there's a lot of things that have happened between March of 2000 and today. We're viewing this in March of 2006. This episode comes out on March 1st, 2026. Okay?
You said 2006.
I wish.
Holy shit.
I know.
2006? Incredible
I know.
year.
Crazy year.
Incredible year.
MySpace was still rocking and YouTube was just rolling out. But in March of 2026, looking back, we have this gulf of knowledge of things that are going to happen between when this episode aired and now. But back all the way then, this reference to Donald Trump being president falls underneath a couple different things.
Okay.
Number one, Donald Trump used to say he was running for president all the time.
Yeah.
It was it was literally his annual gag.
Yeah.
He would bring it up all the time. He would say he was going to run as a Reform Party candidate.
Okay.
Which was the same candidacy that Ross Perot ran under.
Yup.
And also was the same political party that Jesse Ventura ran for governor of Minnesota under.
The wrestler?
Yes, the wrestler and governor of Minnesota, Jesse Ventura. Jesse the Body Ventura, a man who tried to unionize all the wrestlers before the dastardly villain Hulk Hogan snitched to Vince McMahon.
Vince McMahon, famously one of Donald Trump's good friends.
Very, very close friends. Yeah, and alleged human trafficker. Anyway, this whole reference is a thing that Donald Trump would say all the time because whenever Donald Trump wanted to show up in the newspapers or get on the radio or figure out anything long before he was on The Apprentice, he would say, I'm going to run for president. In fact, there's actually even back in the 90s, Donald Trump goes on Oprah.
Yeah.
And he's there and he's doing this whole Oprah moment. And during it, Oprah Winfrey herself says, sounds to me like you should be president, Donald Trump.
Oprah. Stop it.
The mother of demons herself.
Oprah. First Dr. Phil, then Dr. Oz, then Jenny McCarthy.
And Donald Trump.
Oh, my God. Could you stop putting people on these couches?
But the thing is because Donald Trump has always been viewed as I want to say basically the idiot's version of a businessman.
Yeah.
It's very easy for the writers to go, oh, let's take a look at this ridiculous thing, this joke of a man. He becomes president, right?
Yeah.
And then they go, we inherit a budget crunch. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Because we just lived through all of that. By the time this was written in 1999 and then aired in 2000, this is after living through Ronald Reagan being a president with George H.W. Bush as vice president, eventually president, who kind of nukes the economy over time. So the Clintons have to come in and fix the budget and all these different things. So like they'd lived through recessions before. They dealt with that, the boom and bust cycle. Many of the writers on The Simpsons are really, really smart people, right?
Yeah.
And so they just see like history as kind of cycles in certain ways, and these things come and go. And honestly, this is a funny bit because in 2000, Donald Trump becoming president, much less a reality TV star, much less a WWE Hall of Famer, all those things sounds insane.
It sounds crazy.
He's
You're
just
like the steak guy? The Atlantic City steak guy?
He hadn't even done the stakes yet.
Oh, my God.
This was pre-Trump stakes. Okay? They literally looked around and they said, what is the biggest clown that we could make a joke of becoming president in the future?
Yeah.
And now here we are, 10 years into his reign, wondering if it'll ever end.
Oh, my God, please. For our psyches.
Yeah. But you want to speak about psyches and speaking about things of like, you know, seeing tea leaves and feeling things out there that might be changes in the future.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I tell you one thing that the Simpsons predicted?
What?
The number 9 on our list.
What's that?
They predicted that Disney would buy 20th Century Fox.
Okay.
Because we live right now in a world of media mergers.
Yeah.
A world where
Conglomerates.
Will Netflix buy WB Discover? Will the Paramount Plus and the cabal of the Ellisons? Well, all these different things. But all the way back in November of 1998, an episode with a ton of famous guest stars, including Alec Baldwin, Kim Basinger, and Ron Howard, also had a very famous scene where they're in Hollywood and they show the 20th Century Fox sign with a picture on it that says a division of Walt Disney Co. And this was 21 years before the actual merger of when Disney bought 20th Century Fox.
They were like, they're for sure going to become monopolies of media.
Yeah. Well, see, this is the thing is one of the things is The Simpsons famously have been made fun of Fox for years.
Yeah.
They would always.
And they are on Fox. So
they're
just
on
making
Fox.
fun of their bosses.
It was one of their big things. And comedy shows in general make fun of, especially if they're on a network, love to poke fun of that. If you look at like when Conan got fired from NBC, when you look at what's going on with Colbert right now in CBS, right? But The Simpsons, one of their most famous ones is they show a Fox News helicopter, which is part of Fox of News Corp, which is the overall corporation that owns 20th Century Fox, Fox Television, and Fox News.
Yep.
All owned by Rupert Murdoch. There is a helicopter that says Fox News, not racist, but #1 with racists. Like that ran on The Simpsons. No one's ever pointed to that being like, oh yeah, look, that's proof that there's an Illuminati conspiracy. No, it's just like that's.
Like, no, you're right.
They looked around and said, this is a thing that happens.
You're right.
And so in this case, what the joke is actually about Disney buying things like ABC and ESPN and growing into becoming a mega corporation. Eventually, Walt Disney Co. did buy this as section of Fox.
Yeah.
Because they didn't buy everything. They didn't buy Fox News. They bought 20th Century Fox. And with that, actually, it got them a bunch of things. So it got them like the X-Men.
Okay.
It got them access to certain parts of Marvel they didn't have before.
Oh, yeah.
But it also meant that Disney and Lisa Simpson herself is a Disney princess.
Oh, she would love that.
Yes,
but
she
also
would.
she'd be like, don't just put me in a corner of being a Disney princess.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, I want to be more than that. But yeah,
she was going to be the president.
The Simpsons are part of the Disney universe of intellectual property.
That's so crazy.
And and if you go to Disney Plus, there will be like a Simpsons tab.
Yeah.
And all these different things. But yeah, there's a few things like that.
I like that they called it. They were like, no, there's no way these super big companies are going to start eating each other like big fish.
Yeah, but it was also just I think also in this joke that they're making here is this joke is because they're like Fox is so so second class. The thing people forget about Fox in general, especially Fox broadcast, is that it was always the fourth or fifth station when you look at broadcast versus television. So a lot of us know cable and we understand TV, but sometimes people have an issue with the distinction between broadcast television in America and cable and all these mega conglomerates. So back in the day, you had CBS, ABC, NBC. Those were the three major stations. Yeah. Then you also had PBS. Then those were on the main channels that everyone had. That would be like 3, 6, 10, and 12 for us in the Philadelphia region. Fox came in. Fox was 29, Fox a local 29. Station, which is on the UHF channels, which famously Weird Al made fun of. But they were this other thing, this upstart network that was coming in. Later, you would have WB and
My
UPN,
PHL 17.
My PHL 17 and CW, or how those things pull together. But Fox was considered like the fourth or even fifth station. It was one that came in later. And so the reason The Simpsons were able to premiere on Fox and not on one of these other ones is Fox was trying anything to garner ratings and to get people to tune into them and to turn away from the brands that they've learned and trusted in television.
Isn't this the time where Fox has In Living Color?
Yes, In Living Color and Married with Children and The Simpsons are the three reasons that Rupert Murdoch was able to get rich enough to be able to build Fox News.
Oh, I hate that.
Well, no, it's a thing
I was
that
gonna
actually
say how much I loved In Living Color. You know what's funny?
Yeah.
Is my parents. I had pretty weirdly I had strict parents in weird ways, and one of them was that I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons for a long time growing up.
I knew a lot of people
because it was like we were like, oh, you can't watch The Simpsons. But then I would watch In Living Color all the time.
Yeah. So
I'm like, don't ever let them see what I'm watching on a Living Color.
So In Living Color is the reason the Super Bowl halftime special exists?
What do you mean?
So there's this thing where the Super Bowl halftime used to just be dog shit.
Yeah.
Okay. It was just like legit. They would have like dogs, or they have local marching bands, or they would just have like a lady come out and sing for like a minute. It was like a nobody.
Yeah.
It wasn't until in the early 90s In Living Color and the Wayans brothers decided to make a Super Bowl halftime special, the same way Turning Point USA tried.
Oh, okay.
And what they did is they're like, we're going to air a special episode of In Living Color on Fox.
Okay.
And so everyone changed the channel from the Super Bowl. The second they went to halftime, they switched over to Fox, and this special In Living Color episode ran.
Yeah.
And it got millions and millions and millions of views.
Oh, for sure.
And everybody talked about the next day. They talked more about the In Living Color special than they did the Super Bowl halftime special.
Yeah.
So what did the NFL do? The next year, they hired Michael Jackson to become the Super Bowl halftime special, and they went and promoted it. And that turns into the Pepsi halftime special, which eventually turns into the Apple Music halftime special that's now produced by Jay-Z, which is also a sign of the Illuminati. Look how many times Lady Gaga covered her eye. We'll be right back after this. If you're trying to eat clean, you have to check out Green Chef. Green Chef delivers real farm-sourced ingredients with over 40 customizable weekly recipes. Every Green Chef box comes with certified organic produce and responsibly sourced proteins and seafood.
I really enjoyed making Green Chef meals when they came to the house. Number one, it just shows up. All the ingredients and the recipe is in the box. Enough for 3 days. That's what I requested. And we had this pork with caper sauce. It was so good.
And what was really great about it was we got to try out a new recipe together. We had all of the items right there, so we saved on having to go to the grocery store. And even the baby liked it.
Yes.
Like we were able to get it all together. It was so good, and we had such a good time. And honestly, it also, the spices that they had really filled our house with like a beautiful aromatic smell that just made us so happy. Take control of your health without the stress. Let Green Chef do the research, meal planning, and grocery shopping while you enjoy low prep, low mess meals for any lifestyle. Right now, go to greenchef.com/50tabs and use code 50tabs to get 50% off your first month. Then 20% off for 2 months with free shipping. That's code 50TABS at greenchef.com/50tabs. And we're back. Now, Mrs. P, I know that we jumped into a sponsor break real fast there, but I didn't want to, I actually still had a little bit more about that conversation we're having about A Living Color, The Simpsons and Married with Children.
Yes.
Because it's a thing that people need to understand. This has been Fox's #1 way of gaining money whenever they're low.
Okay.
They always turn to minority comedy and minority audiences. Specifically, they're doing it right now through Tubi.
Tubi.
Yeah, Tubi, the free streaming service, it's
Yeah.
heavily aimed at African Americans
Yeah.
in the United States.
Okay.
And it runs a lot of black creators and others. And a lot of people don't realize that this is Rupert Murdoch.
That's a Fox thing?
Tubi is owned by Fox.
That's crazy. I had no idea.
Exactly. That's why they call it Tubi.
Oh, yeah.
Like they want to, again, it's brand separation. It's the same thing when Hulu was first created. Hulu was a Fox and Disney and NBC like streaming thing they brought
Yeah.
together because they were trying to figure out the streaming space together and to combat Netflix. And no one of them wanted to be the one to create Peacock or Disney Plus or any of these different things.
Got it.
So Tubi is Fox's answer to all of these things.
Oh, my God. I had no idea.
Yeah. And so, but going back into this with The Living Color, when they got to a certain level with The Living Color, and then the Wayans brothers wanted more money, Fox turns their back on them and tosses them aside. Married with Children, they go and really aim for the lowest common denominator with Al Bundy and those guys. They get enough money, they go and they junk that. They keep these guys around for as long as they can.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, they move on. The Simpsons have become their prestige. The Simpsons are just now one of the last OGs that are left on Fox, which is why the Simpsons could stay around long enough to get to our number 8, which is to predict the OceanGate disaster all the way back in January of 2006.
Wait, OceanGate. That was when the rich guys went down in the submarine and
The billionaires that exploded. Yeah.
I think they imploded.
They did. They vaporized.
They vaporized.
They
yeah.
vaporized.
I remember after they finally were like, we don't think they're coming back. And then videos started showing up online of like what it would look like if you got crushed under the pressure.
Oh, yeah. And it was just like instant.
And I was like,
instant
yo,
pop.
this is crazy.
Yeah, 100%.
Also, it was crazy that everybody was cheering. Anyway, tell me about how the Simpsons could have possibly known OceanGate was going to happen.
Well, what you need to understand, Mrs. P, is that billionaires,
Yes.
they yearn for the tubes. They yearn for the tubes. But this episode is from season 10, season 17,
Okay.
episode 10, and it's called Homer's Paternity Coot. In this episode, Homer believes a man named Mason Fairbanks to be his long-lost biological father. The two embark on an underwater adventure in individual submersibles to try and find the treasures in a sunken ship named Piso Mojado. But Homer gets stuck in a coral and his oxygen levels keep dipping. He loses consciousness and wakes up 3 days later in a hospital. In June of 2023, many fans noted the parallels with the real-life disappearance of an OceanGate submersible that was carrying 5 passengers who were on an adventure to see the ruins of the Titanic at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. The thing is people noticed that. The difference was there was a while there where they were looking for the OceanGate, and they're like, maybe they're down there. And there was even timers that ran on the corner of CNN, like, they have this much oxygen left.
Yo,
no,
that's so crazy.
it's so crazy that they have been dead for days.
In retrospect, even if they would have survived,
Yeah.
it's crazy that every news network put up a fucking timer for how much oxygen was left in that fucking tank.
Yeah.
And then we all found out they're down there. The guy's steering with a PlayStation controller in a toilet tube of a metal thing.
Imagine dying via Mad Catz controller. That's so crazy,
Bro.
So the thing to keep in mind again with this one is
It sounds like they didn't nail this one.
no, they didn't nail it completely. They're close.
They're close.
Because
there was
again,
a father-son though, right?
there was a father-son in
Yeah.
there. Because that was their bonding thing. And as we pointed out,
Way to bond, y'all.
But as we pointed out in was it the Macy's episode?
Okay.
Wasn't it the Macy's episode?
The guy was on the Titanic.
Yeah. The wife
Yeah.
of the guy who was running OceanGate.
Yeah.
And the reason why that exploded is because he kept running the same one.
Yeah.
And they were it was the material that was made of had cracks and fissures. Once it reached that certain level, it could do it once or twice, but I think it was a fiberglass shell or something along those lines. It wasn't strong enough. The best is the fact that James Cameron talks shit on all of their watery graves. If you guys want to see something crazy, there's some lines actually. There was an investigation that was done. I think it was the FAA or the Coast Guard, one of those, where they have all these redacted names.
Yeah.
James Cameron's name is redacted. Not Epstein files style, but you can read this through. And basically, he spends the entire time just talking shit on the OceanGate guy. He'd be like, that fucking idiot. You're not supposed to, because James Cameron is obsessed with submersibles.
Yeah.
He literally did the Titanic movie to make money.
Yeah.
To be able to cover going down to the Titanic in a submersible. That's why it's part of the movie. He was like, I'm going to figure out how to fund this.
He's like, no, I'm going to write it off.
Yeah.
I'm going to write it off.
The same way Mrs. P holds up a nice sweater when we're out and goes, maybe for the show? And I'm like, I'm not writing it off. I'm not writing it off. I'm not keeping that receipt.
Okay, what did you write this off?
No, we got this. We got this in Rehoboth Beach at an outlet mall like 3 years ago. And I put it on because I feel Olympic. I figured if Kash Patel can hang out in the locker room, so can I.
Oh, no.
Anyway,
those guys are getting canceled hard on the internet.
Well,
right
you
now.
know what, man? They learn when to laugh. Anyway, the whole thing is with this submersible and them making this prediction.
Yeah.
It's based on a pattern recognition of the joke.
Yeah.
Rich people love doing weird stuff, including getting in and funding underwater submersibles, especially lone one-man submersibles.
Yeah.
In this episode, they're in the type that are glass.
Yeah.
They're very much more like the submersibles you can get in GTA 5, where you can float in the water out there. And it's just that sort of feeling. This is just like rich people shit. This is Richard Branson.
Rich people shit.
Rich people shit. I mean, if they did big hot air balloon, it would also make sense inside of this. But they wanted to have a joke where a guy gets stuck underwater, and this is just kind of how they went with it.
All right, so I'm saying they didn't they didn't nail the future on this one.
Well, they did nail the future on the next one.
Okay.
Which was in the episode You Don't Have to Live Like a Referee that aired in March of 2014.
Mm-hmm.
They completely predicted the FIFA corruption scandal.
Which one?
Exactly. In this episode, Homer gets brought into the world of soccer refereeing, mainly due to the FIFA organization having a shortage of referees due to massive corruption.
Yep.
Though he gets tempted, he ends up deciding to call the big game fairly, leading to Germany winning the World Cup. The show, this episode specifically, was right about two things.
What?
Number one, Germany did end up winning the next World Cup.
Nice.
And number two, in 2015, FIFA's headquarters were raided by the police amid accusations of bribery, fraud, and money laundering.
Yeah.
But now everything's fine, and FIFA's no longer corrupt, and we have the FIFA World Peace Prize.
Who won the FIFA World Peace Prize?
He is the man from the 10th the president of the United States.
Super peaceful guy. Has he ever kidnapped a different country's president?
Not that I know of, and the Simpsons have not, as far as I know, as far as from looking around, the Simpsons have not predicted the president of the United States kidnapping another president.
Okay.
They did predict a president getting arrested one time, but that was they just had a line, president arrested, because they're like, that's a funny headline to
That'll
ignore.
never happen.
But in this one, this is, again, one of those ones where it's like them nailing Germany.
Yeah.
Crazy. But again, this ends up in one of those situations. When you look at it, we're like, Germany has won a bunch of World Cups.
Okay.
And have been a really good team historically around that time.
Yeah.
This would be like right now, being like, oh, and Argentina wins the World Cup. Oh, the MVP would be Messi. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what? Like that's like kind of like, oh, it's a hedged bet.
Yeah.
And if they had been wrong, everyone would have known
But
they've been wrong.
also, like, The Simpsons, tell me if I'm wrong about this, but I don't think the writers of The Simpsons were trying to predict the future. I think they were just trying to write silly episodes.
Yeah, this is part of it. And this is actually a thing that comes up in a lot of these different articles about The Simpsons, specifically around these prediction things.
Yeah.
Is the guys are always like, yeah, we try to take things from the real world and we try to make them as absurd as possible.
Yeah.
And we try to just kind of like do this. We're not intentionally trying to predict things.
Yeah.
The thing is saying FIFA is corrupt and saying the World Cup is corrupt is been there since the beginning of the World Cup.
Yeah.
Like the very first World Cup
You're
had
like,
massive
sky
corruption.
is blue.
Yeah, like the first World Cup had like referees chasing people off the pitch and all these different things. Like there's like crazy stories around the early World Cups of massive corruption.
Yeah.
Then you also get into the world of sports washing. Then you get into international politics around it. Then you get into the money schmonies, and it just gets wilder from there. And so them predicting this is like, yeah, it's just it's crazier the fact that the Simpsons joked about, like, the joke in this was FIFA actually getting busted.
Yeah,
that's the actual joke. And they're like, could you imagine a world where, like, I don't know, a Republican politician got impeached and removed from office? That'd be so funny.
That'd be so crazy.
That
That could never happen.
So funny. Because it's absurd.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to go on to the next one?
Yeah.
The next one's not as cutesy.
Why not?
Because it's from the episode Springfield with a dollar for the S. So I guess like Dollar Springfield from December of 1993.
Like Kesha.
Yeah. It's from season 5, episode 10. And this one predicted the tiger attacking Siegfried and Roy.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I mean,
That's just a numbers game, really.
That's what I'm saying. There's
That's
that sounds like
you're
a thing.
hanging out with tigers all day.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is about Siegfried and Roy, right? And about this is in this episode, Mr. Burns decides to build a casino in Springfield.
For sure.
All right.
He would do
And
that.
he wants to have this he wants it to have more Vegas than Atlantic City energy because,
Got
again,
it.
he doesn't want to feel like a failure like Donald Trump. He's a real billionaire.
Yeah.
So he wants to build it more like Vegas, and especially like 90s Vegas had a family friend, like they were trying to build a family friendly energy.
Yeah.
This is way before they had, was it the orb? The sphere.
The sphere.
Way before that. So they're trying to build these different things like Circus and all these other different places where they want to have these big gaudy shows.
Yeah.
And so inside of it, he has, Mr. Burns has two men who do a tiger magic act.
Well, yeah. You have
Now,
to have a tiger
they
magic
are
act.
not Siegfried and Roy.
No, what are their names?
Their name are Gunter and Ernst. But they're clearly...
I get what you're doing.
Yeah. They're clearly parodies
Yeah.
of Siegfried and Roy. But their act ends in tragedy when their white tiger Anastasia attacks them. 10 years later, all right, in 2003, Roy Horn was then attacked by a white tiger.
Yeah.
And here's it.
But then again, this is just a numbers thing because they had white tigers.
Yes.
If you're interacting with tigers,
Yeah.
every day,
Every day.
there's a chance one day the tiger is gonna have enough of your bullshit.
So there's a crazy thing actually behind the Roy tiger attack.
Yeah.
I remember reading articles about it where they at least tried to push this for a bit, that the tiger may have saved Roy's life.
What?
Because he may have been having a stroke or an embolism and it bit him right in an area to like relieve pressure on his brain.
No.
I don't know, man. I'm just saying, like, now, like,
You added a conspiracy to our conspiracy theory episode?
I'm just telling you that this is what his PR people pushed afterwards to make you not afraid of the tigers eating him again and actually to think that the tigers were a good guy.
The tiger was just trying to save his life.
I don't know. It's probably, he probably used the same PR people as like Mossad. All right. That's just how that goes.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, with that, Mrs. P.
Yeah.
We're going to come back. And when we come back, we'll talk about some other crazy things like voting machines and horse meat and COVID itself. But more right after this. Mrs. P, there is a recent theory, though, as to why The Simpsons have so many connections into predictions.
Why?
And it's because that Matt Groening, the inventor of The Simpsons, might be part of the Illuminati.
What do you mean?
Well, so Matt Groening is in the Epstein files.
I don't even know where I put the water bottle. What are you talking about?
Well, I hid the water bottle.
You
because
hid the water bottle?
Because I knew this exact moment was going to happen, okay? The creator of The Simpsons is in the Epstein files, and he was specifically mentioned by Virginia Giuffre, who is the main girl that everybody knows.
Woman, who passed away.
Yes. With under suspicious circumstances. Matt Groening is mentioned. He flew on Epstein's plane in 1999 on a short flight. And Virginia was ordered by Jeffrey Epstein to give Matt Groening a foot massage on this short flight.
All right.
And she makes note of it in her memoirs and in testimony. Now, to be clear, she says repeatedly that Matt Groening was a very, very nice man and that nothing sexual or untoward happened or any of this different stuff. It was when she was working as a masseuse for Epstein after Epstein had convinced her to stop working at Mar-a-Lago for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
This is in that time period. And in 1999, he told her, give Matt Groening a foot massage.
Yeah.
She took off his shoes and she said repeatedly it was the gnarliest looking feet she's ever seen in his life. She goes into like very vivid description of like how disgusting his feet are.
Oh.
And the thing is like he's like a old guy cartoonist. Like when I look at him, like I wouldn't expect him to have good feet. Like he has a guy. When you look at him, you're like, I don't want to judge a book by its cover, but that's a bad foot cover.
Yeah.
Okay. But she cleaned his feet as best she could, and then she gave him a foot massage on this very short flight. Again, I think it's like under an hour of the flight. He then reached into his briefcase and he pulled out 2 blank pieces of paper and he asked her, I want to do a Simpsons drawing for you. And he drew 2 sketches of Bart Simpson that he then personalized to her brothers. That she then gave to her brothers.
That's
and
so
then
weird.
His name comes up again repeatedly when you're reading through evidence logs because there's a signed Bart Simpson's picture that pops up repeatedly in Jelane's possessions and others. Like there are some ones around there. So it's been one of those ones where like he has a connection there. So now conspiracy theories, the same way people are like, they're eating babies because this one email, are like, I told you the Simpsons had connections.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so I hate all of that.
I know. It's crazy.
Okay, I would like to get away from this. What's the next one?
Faulty voter machines.
Oh, no.
Now, here's the thing. I can already see by your face.
Yeah.
You think this is going to be a January 6th thing.
I mean, I was going to think it was a Trump thing.
You got to stop the steal thing.
Yeah.
No, it's
No?
not. Because people forget that in the early 2000s, through like 2012, basically, stealing elections and fake voter machines, that was a lib thing.
What?
Yeah. 9/11 conspiracies, stealing elections, hating big pharma, all these things. These were like crazy lefty things. For a very long time. A lot of them got co-opted by the Trump machine. And the thing, Mrs. P, is all the way back in November of 2008.
Yeah.
There was a prediction in the Treehouse of Horror 19.
Ooh, the Ookie Spooky Halloween episode.
Yeah, where they do a bunch of different references to things.
Yeah.
In season 20, episode 4, in the cold open, there is a scene where Homer is standing in a voting booth and he's attempting to vote for Barack Obama.
Okay.
And every time he touches the screen, the computerized machines count it for John McCain.
Yeah.
And this is a joke. And the thing is like a lot of people forget, this is a reference to 2004 and Diebold machines in Ohio. It's also a reference to Florida in 2000.
The Hanging Chads?
The Hanging Chads and the butterfly ballots down there, of this idea of it doesn't matter how you vote, it matters how it's counted. And the thing is it only took one more election cycle for this exact thing to happen, where someone actually has shot a viral video of themselves using a touchscreen to try to vote, and they are trying to vote for, it's either Romney and it chooses Obama, or they're voting for Obama and it chooses Romney.
Wow.
But the whole thing is, a lot of these things that are tied together is because Republicans are considered so pro-business and so connected to the business world, that was always the view, that the voting machines would always skew towards the Republican.
Yeah.
Because the owners of the voting machines and that company that's servicing them would be Republican.
Yeah.
And so the joke is always that way. It's not until Trump shows up with his paranoia, narcissism, and general feeling of, if I say it's stolen now, then if it is stolen, I can claim it's stolen.
He keeps saying it's stolen, but he won.
Yes.
He's like, they're going to try to steal it. And you're like, but you won.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing. In 2016, he claimed it was stolen, running up to the day he won.
Yeah.
And then he still tried claiming that the popular vote was rigged.
Yeah.
Because he only won the electoral. In 2020, obviously, we all know what happened. And then, the FBI tried to fake January 6th.
Oh, my God.
But actually, what's crazy, there's a reference to people storming the Capitol inside The Simpsons.
No.
I don't even have it in this list.
It's not even on, it didn't make the list?
It's not even on this list, but there's a reference to January 6th in The Simpsons. It's making fun of everything looking around. There's, I'm just a bill. Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
only from Schoolhouse Rock.
Yes.
That famous thing. There's a scene of a bunch of like bills dressed up in like hunter gear and like very Second Amendment-y, rushing into the Capitol building.
Oh my God.
And that reference then is like in the rest of it. So people are like, oh my God, the Simpsons predicted January 6th.
One of the bills is dressed up like a shaman.
Yeah, that would be very funny. But the thing is like, again, you didn't have to actually like predicting January 6th in the way, like I predicted January 6th.
Yeah.
I remember like I told you it was going to happen right before it happened.
Yeah.
And part of it was because these guys were very open about it.
They had Facebook pages dedicated to it.
Yeah, but also the other thing is when I looked at the timeline, once Trump had lost in 2020, right? And people were dancing in the streets for Joe Biden. Remember those days? They were dancing in the streets. Oh my God, Joe Biden. And then I sat there and I went, well, okay, well, I know it's not done yet because each of these states have to certify.
Yep.
And my fear at the time was that they were going to try to take over one of the state capitals and that would trigger a civil war. They did actually try to do that, which actually then hardened a bunch of other different things. I think it was Michigan. They tried to there were some things happened and some people were like, that was really shady. And that's what lended to, and at least in Pennsylvania at Harrisburg, they ended up actually like securing the state capitals. So across the United States, especially in these swing states, they were very nervous to make sure that they could go through the actual moment of, I hereby swear these electors and all this different stuff to do the ceremony. Because to make our government legitimate, we not only just have to have the vote, we have to have a series of ceremonies that say that what happened happened. That's where legitimacy comes from, okay?
Yeah.
And so in this case, all these things were happening. I remember one day, I think it was in December, I looked at the entire, like, I was like, when is it done? Before he puts his hand on the Bible, when is it official that Joe Biden has won? Because all of these steps along the way, none of these are official.
Yeah.
On the election day, when the AP, the Associated Press, or some guy tweets, "Oh my God, I've seen enough, so-and-so won," I always think to a famous picture of Harry Truman defeating his Republican rival and holding up a newspaper that said Dewey beats Truman. And Harry Truman laughing because the newspapers predicted that he would lose. They went ahead and officially stated that news, and then it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Because of that, that's why we have certification. So I looked at the timeline. I said, what's the last possible date? And it said January 6th. And I said, well, that's the day everything bad's going to happen. Because it's easy to predict with Donald Trump. He's an extremely lazy man.
Yeah.
Surrounded by extremely lazy people.
Yeah. Well, he's not just lazy. He thinks that there's a finite amount of energy in your body.
Yes.
And he doesn't want to waste it.
Exactly. But also, he's one of the type of person, he wants to hold it off to the last possible minute, and then he wants to ask for an extension.
Yeah.
This is the reason why.
He's going to file that appeal.
He's going to file an appeal. He's going to file an extension. The way he was able to not pay contractors, specifically in Atlantic City, was one of the things he would do is he would have lawyers on retainer, and he'd say, okay, thank you for the cabinetry. I'm not going to pay you. And the guy would go, oh, well, I'm going to sue you. He's like, great. Do you have $1 million? Because that's how much it's going to cost you in legal fees to be able to go up against my lawyers, because he is paying those lawyers anyway.
Yeah, because he figured it was cheaper to just keep lawyers on staff than it is to pay all the contractors.
Yeah, and he didn't worry about how that would happen inside like his word of mouth or any of those different things, because there was always a new round of contractors because he just put those ones out of business.
Yeah.
And it's just like how this man has operated throughout history. So yeah, so going all the way back to what we were actually talking about here, which was faulty voting machines, all of those were tied around the idea that if you tried to vote for Obama, it was going to choose Romney. And also, there was another movie. I think it was called Man of the Year. No, it wasn't Man of the Year. There was a movie that had Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis, and that was set. Oh, and Man of the Year with Robin Williams. All of them had jokes about voting machines.
Okay.
There was a lot of very left liberal movies that were all about how Republicans were going to steal elections.
Well,
but they were going to do it secretly instead of in public, like they're trying to do now
on Twitter.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? But that was one of the ways the Simpsons.
So I feel like they sort of nailed that one. They sort of nailed that one, except for it's in reverse.
They nailed it in reverse on paper, and also it was happening, and it was a reference to things that already happened.
Okay. What's the next one?
The next one is from Sweet Seymour Skinner's Badass Song.
Great name.
Season 5, episode 19. And this prediction was about horse meat in people food.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, so in this episode, we see Lunch Lady Doris adding horse parts to a typical Springfield elementary lunch. In 2013, health officials in the United States discovered that several beef products contained horse meat all across the U.S. And the thing is...
RFK Jr., baby.
There's RFK Jr. There's also like the IKEA Swedish meatballs. That was one of the ones that came up, and it's happened a couple times.
Those things are delicious.
In some, not the horse meat ones.
I don't know. Are they?
I think it's mostly gravy. I think the gravy is what you like.
The gravy is what I like?
don't know. But what I'm going to say though is the horse meat thing. Like in France, eating horse meat's fine.
Yeah.
This is a cultural thing. It's culture to culture, and it's also where you're sourcing the meat from, and all this different stuff. And so, like in the U.S., we're anti-eating horse.
Sure.
It's just kind of general, like culturally, like how we've been because of cowboys and the Marlboro Man and stuff like that. But historically, eating horse meat was just a thing. There are people like eating meat is meat.
Yeah. Glue is glue.
I mean, kind of. Yeah. And so I don't really have much for this one because it's just kind of like a thing.
To my mind, it's just funny because we live in a world now where like, when it comes to quote health and food and like the things we're putting in our foods, like our foods overall and like what the FDA does and doesn't check. It's like this could have been that you said it was 2013.
Yeah.
In 2013, I as a new Simpsons writer, I think in 2027 they're going to find out there's horse meat in food again.
Yeah.
Because they're going to say, oh well, it's what's the Liver King say? Like it'll be very Liver King coded. It'll be like it's Ancient Man, it's Alpha. They're gonna rebrand it because that's what they do in America is they rebrand certain things. Like I got an ad the other day for a protein powder that was made of colostrum. Do you know what colostrum is?
No.
Colostrum is the milk that comes out of a breast right after you give birth. So it's like, it's the very first thing a newborn drinks, and it's like, makes them really, it's really good for them. It's got all the right antibodies, and it helps them stay safe and strong. And so, but it's a very specific time frame that your body makes this. And so they're rebranding colostrum from cows that's supposed to go to little baby cows, and they're saying, oh, if you drink this protein powder made out of colostrum, it'll be good for you. And they're like getting people to drink it in these powders. And I'm watching this ad, and I'm like, knowing what it is, and I'm like, guys, this is a crazy rebrand of what that is.
It's nipple froth.
It's nipple froth. And so now there's like big bodybuilder dudes who are jacked up on testosterone and all the other things they make. They're like, I'm drinking colostrum. And I'm like, I think in one more year they're going to be putting horse meat and stuff, because they'll rebrand anything for health, in quote, health.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's just kind of how all these things, and in general with this, when we get into factory farming, when you look at things like factory farming and you look at like how our food is sourced and all these different things, like, that's kind of where I remember the Simpsons having jokes about hot dogs, including raccoon.
Yeah.
Like, they take all the different parts of all these different things of like, what is a hot dog? What is scrapple?
Don't ask.
We don't want to know.
It's delicious.
There's a level where you just go, it's what it is. But like, that's kind of where this comes from. And in the case of like the school lunches, there was a move.
Michelle Obama tried to make them healthy and good.
She did, and then instead we brought in RFK.
Yeah.
It's crazy because everything they claim that RFK Jr. was pushing is things that Michelle Obama pushed, and then racists said they didn't like.
Yeah, Michelle Obama was like, I'm going to have a garden and talk to kids about vegetables. And they're like, we're going to pave the rose garden and put it like and give them kids supplements or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, 100%. The rose garden patio. Yeah, she was like, maybe we should have corn.
Yeah.
It would be nice if kids ate corn. It'd be good for them.
Yeah.
And people were like, you can't make me eat corn. In my world, Jell-O is a vegetable. But yeah, that's the whole thing that happened. Like the whole backlog. People don't know that like the backlash to the backlash is the reason why certain movements give up on certain things and then they're adopted by others. And again, part of this is because of references. So speaking of references and things that, again, when you're using modern brain and looking at it, you go, are they predicting the thing that I'm going through right now?
Yeah.
In May of 1993, did The Simpsons predict the COVID-19 pandemic? When you're putting on your outfit for the day, every piece matters. Quince has everything you need to mix and layer all year long. From wardrobe staples to statement pieces, Quince clothes are comfy and built to last. Quince pieces, like their European jersey linen, are breathable and lightweight, and the cashmere is 100% Mongolian. And I've got to say, I've been really enjoying with you, Mrs. B, sitting down and going to Quince and going and picking out our new staples for when we are leaving the house and doing meetings and going to parent-teacher events and other things that we've been doing. Yeah. Because most of the time, listen, we're at home. I'm wearing kooky stuff, right? We dress a certain homebody way, but then we remember, oh my God, we need to go out and we need to look competent.
We need to look nice.
We need to look nice and we need to look sane.
Yeah.
And we need to fit in a way that makes sense and that has really good source materials and feels good and is going to last.
And it's going to last.
And that's the one thing I've been really having fun is going through, picking out new 3/4 zips and full zips and making sure I get new polos and other different feels for those shirts. I've just been so happy with them. Quince partners directly with ethical factories and top artisans. No middlemen means you're getting top quality pieces without paying luxury prices. Right now, go to quince.com/TMT for free shipping and 365-day returns. That's a full year to build your wardrobe and love it, and you will. Now available in Canada too. Don't keep settling for clothes that don't last. Go to QUINCE.com/TMT for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/TMT. And we're back. Now, Mrs. P.
Yeah. Buckle up.
Buckle up. We're getting into COVID conspiracy now.
I don't. We just talked about horse meat.
Yeah.
And now we're going to talk about horse dewormers.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. You know what? Look at you. Look at you.
I'm putting them together.
Oh, let's get you a big red string board. Okay.
My favorite.
Because here's the thing. The episode Marge and Chains.
Okay. Marge and Chains as in Marge the wife.
Yes. Yeah.
Got it.
It's from season 4, episode 21, May of 1993. At the beginning of this episode is set in Japan.
Okay.
Okay. And in Japan, there's a sick factory worker working on a line, and he coughs into a box.
Okay.
And that box is shipping juicers to Springfield.
Got it.
So juice, like you take an orange and squeeze it on and make
I
juice.
used to have a juicer, but they're a pain to clean, so I stopped using it.
Then the town's residents of Springfield,
Got it.
they all become sick because the man coughed in a box that is using the juicers. Somebody uses the juicer. They become ill, and it spreads around. And in the show, they call it Osaka flu. And they even have this picture of Godzilla with a thermometer.
Oh, sad Godzilla.
It's sad Godzilla. Now, on its own, this is its own thing. It's just sitting there.
Yeah.
And the idea behind this, when you look at it, is the idea of like smallpox blankets and all these different things. This is kind of forgotten about. It's a throwaway gag until March of 2020 when coronavirus replaced Osaka flu in memes online. People are watching. They're stuck indoors. They're watching Simpsons marathons on FXX. They're going to their DVDs. This is from the early seasons. A lot of people really like the early seasons more than like the later seasons.
Yeah.
So these early seasons are ones that get rewatched a lot.
And so they're watching it and they're like, oh my God.
Yes.
Yet again, The Simpsons has called it.
Yes. And so basically online trolls start to use this episode in particular for racist propaganda because also online trolls, they don't know where Japan versus China is and where all these different things are and where, all this different stuff.
Yeah, the maps are hard.
Maps are hard.
Yeah.
To the point where Bill Oakley, who was the co-writer of this episode, had an interview with The Hollywood Reporter. And I'm assuming this was over Zoom because this was written during COVID, during the lockdowns. He said that he didn't like, quote, I didn't like it being used for nefarious purposes. The idea that anyone misappropriates it to make coronavirus seem like an Asian plot is terrible. In terms of trying to place the blame on Asia, I think that is gross. He also said it was meant to be absurd. The idea that someone could cough into a box and that virus would survive for 6 to 8 weeks inside of the box itself is cartoonish. We intentionally made it cartoonish because we wanted to be silly, not scary.
Yeah.
And that was one of the big things. That even when COVID hit, there was a big thing about people being like, I don't know, like if I'm having groceries delivered, what if the COVID could live?
Yeah, people were like Lysol wiping all their groceries.
Or leaving it outside for a specific amount of time or let it sit out because the virus itself could, or viruses in general can't survive on a thing without biological material for a certain amount of time because it needs to be a virus.
I like how he acknowledges that it's absurd because I think a lot of, whenever I watch The Simpsons, and I think of writers like Conan O'Brien, who was a writer on The Simpsons, right? Is Conan's style of writing and comedy and the Simpsons style of writing comedy is absurdity.
Yes.
Is like, they just take it to the farthest, weirdest thought, and that's why it's funny. And so, like, it just shows that, like, they were like, it would be crazy if a cough could last in a box. Like the ladies that, on like the OnlyFans that sell their farts in a jar.
Yes.
Like it's a crazy concept.
Well, speaking of which, though, don't drink bathwater.
What?
Because there's people who sell, like, there's OnlyFans models who sell bathwater.
Okay.
Like used bathwater.
Yeah, okay, a business. I get it.
Okay, yeah, but that isn't air, and that's not open. That is a sealed jar of water that has bacteria in it. And so
why are you saying people are drinking it?
Because they're like, oh my God, I would drink her bath water because they're that horny.
No.
And they've gotten like pink eye and shit from it and like other diseases. But nobody has ever come back and then said, oh my God, this specific OnlyFans model is.
That's so funny. You have to go to the doctor and be like
how did this happen?
Well,
how did you get typhoid?
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is the type of thing. But you mentioned Conan.
Yeah.
I did look it up. There's been 154 people who have been credited or with writing or co-writing at least one episode of The Simpsons.
Okay.
And these are the main writer. Because the thing to remember with TV shows is there's not only a writer, there's a writer's room, then all these other people come in for punch-ups.
Yeah.
So there's somebody who will write the baseline episode. In the case of Conan, his most famous one is the monorail episode, where he comes as a man, sell a monorail to town. And that episode, which is very good, there's other people who came in and went, oh, it'd be funny if this thing over here, we'll add this little joke here, we'll add this little thing here. Maybe instead of saying ran, we say jog, because jogging is always funnier than running.
Yeah.
It's literally like a comedy rule. So things like that come in. Producers who maybe have an uncredited line, those things. There's literally thousands of people involved with creating these things.
Yeah.
But just some of the people that you may have heard of who have written these, and these are the ones that, as I scroll through the Wikipedia article of every writer,
yeah,
almost every single one of them have a clickable name.
Okay.
Because all of them have done so much. And just like SNL and other things, The Simpsons has become a place where people build their resume on it. It's almost like a comedy writer's college.
Yeah.
And so these are some names: Seth Rogen, Ricky Gervais, Judd Apatow, Pete Holmes, Dana Gould, who was also a massive producer, and Conan O'Brien. And speaking of Conan, there's a whole other level, especially around the Epstein stuff.
Wait, what?
That's not involving Conan himself.
Whoa.
But involving The Late Show, Late Night with Conan O'Brien, and his TBS show, because there are people who now mine old Conan clips as proof that Conan O'Brien was secretly trying to out creeps across the entertainment world.
The masturbating bear guy?
Yes, the guy who had the masturbating bear.
The masturbating
Conan
bear
O'Brien.
guy, yeah.
And part of this is because Conan is a comedian.
Yeah.
And so Conan is going to either the most absurd level, or he's just yes-anding, which is an improv move.
Yeah.
Okay? Because you do it. You're doing it right now.
I know.
You're just saying yes. But the idea in improv, for those of you guys who don't know, is you go yes. And so if Mrs. P, say something funny, Mrs. P.
Oh, say something. Oh, okay. I fell down the stairs.
Yes. And at the bottom, there were alligators. Right? Like that's improv. Okay?
Yeah. And I really need you to call an exterminator.
Yeah, I do. See, exactly. See, yes, and she's heightening to it, she's adding to it. People pay thousands of dollars to improv classes to learn what we just taught you. Join our
Patreon and make checks payable.
Yeah, and I will say my one note is I didn't love that my wife immediately went to I fell down the stairs. I just want to throw that
I
out
didn't
there.
say I was pushed.
But the implication is there, lady. But that's exactly where Conan's brain. There is a famous clip of Conan O'Brien interviewing Danny Masterson.
Oh my
the
God.
Scientologist
I
who
know who
has
he is.
been found guilty of horrific crimes.
Yes.
Danny Masterson is talking about in his interview. The interview's not going well because it's very clear that the character Hyde is a lot more interesting. Hyde from that 70s show is a lot more interesting than Danny Masterson, the person.
Yeah.
And Conan, going off of Danny Masterson's joke about showing people his balls unannounced, Conan replies to him,
I've heard about you, and you'll be caught soon. I know you will.
Now, that's Conan reacting to a piece of information that man told him.
Yeah.
That Danny Masterson states that he is showing his genitalia to people without their asking.
Yeah. That
Conan
he's admitting
says,
the crimes.
you're going to go to jail. And this happens repeatedly. People sit on the show trying to be funny, saying outlandish things, and then Conan has two choices. He can either heighten, say an outlandish thing and agree with that person for being a creep, or say you're going to go to jail for what you just said, and the crowd's going to laugh regardless because it's a comedy show, and this is how comedy works, especially in the early 2000s with a lot of very questionable humor. Looking at you, scrubs. Anyway, there's a whole side market of this stuff.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say is on YouTube. I see I get
What
offered
I'm
it a lot.
saying is that Conan O'Brien wasn't sprinkling Illuminati truths. He didn't know things.
No, he was just trying to get through an episode.
He was just trying to make someone that sucks seem funny.
Yeah, he was just that's not even that.
No.
Because Conan actually, like, if the guy truly sucked, he would not try to make them seem funny.
Yeah.
Conan was just trying to get to commercial. Because the thing is like, I know that we have on our show, we have sponsors and we have programmatic ads we put in there that we don't control and other different things. Like the late night format has a very, and The Simpsons have a very particular format, which was a block of commercials every 6 minutes.
Yeah.
And they had to hit the 6 minute mark and then they'd throw commercials at you. We try to aim for like a 15 or 20 minute range in between each ones. So that way you guys can get through a little bit more of it. And if you don't like those ads, you can always join us at pearlmania500.net.
Nice.
That's right. This was an ad inside of itself. Fuck you. Join us at the team lead level and get ad-free content like the after party where we react to your comments that you're leaving right now on YouTube, on the secret YouTube,
These
and on
guys
Patreon.
suck. I'm unfollowing.
Yeah,
cool. Join the Patreon.
Join the Patreon. Tell it to our faces. Anyway, with that, Mrs. P, now that we've talked a little bit about writers, are you ready for the last two that I have here? Because the next one is from the Simpsons movie.
Oh, the movie.
Yeah, which there's going to be a second movie.
Wait, there is?
Yeah, which is crazy because they actually predict the second movie taking a certain amount of time and it's like almost a decade and or 20 years or so actually. I think they predicted it to be 20 years and 20 years later the second movie is almost coming out.
I saw the Simpsons movie in the movie theater. Wait,
So did I.
This is funny because earlier in this episode I said that I wasn't allowed to watch the Simpsons when I was little, right? Like parents rule, you're not allowed to watch the Simpsons. It's adult content, whatever. But when I went to see the Simpsons movie in the theaters, I saw it with my dad.
Yeah, that sounds about right. The thing is about The Simpsons is The Simpsons is one of those ones where if you go back to the 80s and 90s and you watch it, it actually feels like the taboo from it is from like the Victorian age.
Yeah.
It's from such a different age. I mean, people forget that The Simpsons famously were attacked by George H.W. Bush.
We are going to keep on trying to strengthen the American family, to make American families a lot more like the Waltons and a lot less like the Simpsons.
And he said, like, we need less of the Simpsons and more like Leave It to Beaver or whatever, one of those other classic 50s
We need more
shows.
shoes thrown at presidents.
Well, that was George W. Bush.
Oh.
I'm talking about George H.W. Bush, who threw up on the Japanese prime minister.
Okay.
Yeah, different guy. Also head of the CIA, weirdly. Anyway, NSA Spying is mentioned in the Simpsons movie.
Okay.
And it was before we knew about the NSA spying on everybody.
Wait,
Yeah.
what did they say?
So in the movie, Marge is discussing her plan to get some government secrets because there's this whole thing about the town being taken over by Union Carbide. There's even a joke in there. Like Tom Hanks is in the movie.
Okay.
And he has a bit part which actually became true in 2020, which is so funny. Tom Hanks, there's a line in there where Tom Hanks says,
The U.S. government has lost its credibility, so it's borrowing some of mine.
and in 2020, after January 6th and COVID, all those different things, they had Tom Hanks do a presentation to bring out Biden.
Oh.
It's like a pre-tape, like in front of the Lincoln Memorial. It was really great. I remember like watching it and actually feeling something, but the whole time thinking about this moment from The Simpsons. So anyway, Marge just discussed her plan to get government secrets. We were taken to the headquarters immediately. You're watching her, and then it zooms out to the headquarters of the National Security Agent. Inside it, there is a room full of monitors with an entire room full of staff listening to phone calls in hopes of catching America's Most Wanted. And so literally in this, every cell phone, every phone, email, all this different stuff. In 2007, The Simpsons are making a joke about the NSA listening to everyone.
Yeah.
It officially comes out in 2013 via the Edward Snowden leaks that there are numerous secret surveillance programs that were specifically being run by the NSA, many of which were allegedly shut down. I'm going to hit a big allegedly on that one.
Come on.
Because, there's a... I don't know if they were.
I don't know.
Do this button still work?
Allegedly.
Maybe.
There we go. It was a big allegedly on that because now the reason this joke exists, and the reason, again, this isn't the Simpsons predicting anything, this is post 9/11.
Yep.
We're in the digital age by the time the movie came out. Actually, I keep thinking it's crazy to me that the movie was 20 years ago because I still feel like I saw it like 5 years ago at best, and my skin hurts now. But in general, at post-Patriot Act and the paranoia of the growing surveillance state that many of us felt, people forget that before 9/11, you could travel. Yeah, you had to go through a metal detector, but you weren't going through an X-ray machine. Your bag might go through an X-ray machine, but you weren't going through an X-ray machine.
Yeah.
You didn't have to have an ID. You could actually
keep your
go.
shoes on.
You could keep your shoes on, yeah. And actually, you didn't even need a ticket to go through security. They just had a security line in front of the terminal to be able to get into there. You didn't need a ticket. It wasn't a ticketed-only area to be in there. We used to, when my dad would travel, we used to go meet him at the gate.
Yep.
We would park our car and walk across and like all these different things. The level of security we feel now, of seeing the idea of living in a country with men on the corner holding an M16, or to me, sorry, AR-15, standing by a subway stop with a big sign that's saying, if you see something, say something. Like that is a this century thing.
Yeah.
In last century, that just didn't exist. The idea of being able to tap into all of our phones with Ring cameras and Flock and all this other different shit that they've rolled out and like tried to do and pull back, scanning your face to be able to use Discord, all of these new levels of surveillance and monitoring and identification, these have always been in the works, and it's not that far off of a prediction, and it's not even that nefarious to be predicting it because the futurists, the engineers, the companies themselves, and the government is constantly calling for these things.
Yeah.
In fact, a lot of the things that came from the Patriot Act, if you go and watch a movie like, which I highly recommend actually watching, Fahrenheit 9/11, because there's a few things where they talk about in there that a lot of the ideas that are in the Patriot Act had been being discussed by the government for a long time. they already just put them together in a single bill and said, all right, this will calm people down. We'll make sure people, we'll create the TSA and we'll start checking people's mail. That'll stop the next 9/11. Mm-hmm. And that's how people felt about, right?
Yeah.
And that like kind of drove them crazy.
Well, my favorite part of the Simpsons movie is, and again, this could be a good prediction. They're probably right about this. There's like a scenario where I guess it's like the end of the world or something. I remember like something catastrophic is going to happen in the movie.
Yeah.
And it pans to a shot where everybody in a church leaves the church and runs to the bar, and everybody in the bar runs and leaves to the church.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, I scream cackled.
Yeah.
Because it's clearly at night. It's a church basement. It's an AA meeting. Everybody's running out of the AA meeting into the bar, and everybody in the bar is running into the church to repent.
Yeah.
And I was like, on the nose.
Yeah.
On the fucking nose.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was the one thing that I laughed at the hardest out loud in the movie.
I remember having a really good time in that movie. I think you know what's funny? I think I saw it with my dad as well. It's a weird time. It was before you and I met. So I was like, oh, we're going to go to the movies with, I guess, my dad. But yeah,
and now I'm like, we got to go see Toy Story 5.
Yeah, but now I've been waiting until the baby's a little older. But yeah, that movie, there's a lot of really great parts in it. There's a lot of really great references in it. It's also because it's a movie, I think people have more rewatch of it than the regular show. And so I think there's more references in it that are also aimed to a little bit longer out.
All right.
Because there's also a few other things in there. I think they have like a Schwarzenegger joke as the president because he was the governor of California at the time. So there's like a few things like that in there.
I like that we live in a world where I'm like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
He seems reasonable.
But Mrs. P.
Yeah.
We have one last prediction.
One last prediction.
And I've been hinting at it here a lot.
Okay.
And when we come back, we'll talk about how the Simpsons predicted the day the world changed on a Tuesday morning. I have two ways I can go with this.
All right.
Do you want me to explain to you how in 1997 the Simpsons predicted 9/11?
Okay.
Or do you want me to explain to you how in 2003 the Muppets implied that if Kermit had never been born, 9/11 would never have happened?
This is a Simpsons episode.
Okay.
So I think we should stay on the Simpsons, but I will hear about the Muppets later.
Okay. Let's do the Simpsons part first. So basically, in 1997, there is an episode called "The City of New York versus Homer Simpson."
Okay.
It's from season 9, and the thing is I remember shortly after 9/11 this coming up a lot.
Yeah.
And it's because of this particular image right here.
Let me see.
And this image, is from the episode.
I'm going to describe it.
Go ahead.
It's Bart holding a wad of cash, and Lisa is holding a pamphlet to buy what looks like a bus ticket for $9, and it says New York $9, and then there's Twin Towers in the background.
Yes, exactly, 100%. And the thing is like this image has been used as a reference to 9/11 because when you're looking at it, the 9 next to the Twin Towers looks like 9/11.
Yes.
It looks like the words 9/11.
You could see that.
Yes, exactly. You can see how but again, I have to say that to you for it to trigger to you.
Yes.
Because I know exactly what happens to you when you see New York $9.
And I'm like, that's the Chinatown bus.
You think of the Chinatown bus or the mega buses from Philadelphia. And this is also part of the joke of this episode.
Yeah.
Because there's been a long running thing with The Simpsons of no one knows exactly where Springfield is. Mm-hmm. There's a Springfield, Pennsylvania. There's a Springfield, Illinois. There's a Springfield in Oregon and Seattle.
Ohio.
And all these, there's so many Springfields.
Yeah.
So there's been a running joke of where is Springfield. So the idea that somewhere is $9 is interesting and funny. And the joke is, look, even Bart can afford this.
Yeah.
The reason why Homer has to go there is because Homer's car gets taken by Barney, the alcoholic, who gets so drunk that he parks it in between the two towers of the World Trade Center.
Okay.
So the whole episode is about the World Trade Center. And then on top of that, there's like all these lines about Homer, there's a boot on the car and he hates New York. And it's this whole thing about New York. The reason a lot of people point to it though, is specifically this image. This standalone.
You could, if you were like really trying.
Yeah.
You're trying hard.
If you didn't know shit about Dick, I'd be like, that's definitely proof. Because again, there's a giant 9. If you didn't
know that you used to be able to get a bus trip from Philadelphia to New York for under $10, you would be like, oh, that's great. Because I look at that and I go, oh, I remember when it was $9.
I remember cheap buses.
I remember a cheap bus ride to New York.
Yeah, but all these different things, right? So there's that
now
part of
it's
it.
$300 on the train.
There's that part of it, right? The other part of it, though, is, again, people looking and trying to make these connections. And also then people not understanding that the World Trade Center had been attacked before. Because there's a whole thing with this list, and I've been looking over it a lot and thinking about like how people can see these things and feel like they're making predictions, right?
Yeah.
And part of it is the first thing we touched on a little bit, cartoonish absurdism.
Yeah.
Right? That's the first part. A lot of these things that they think, like Trump becoming president or any of the other different things, or this is an idea that's so absurd, we're going to throw out there the elephant wore a hat. That's funny. Why would an elephant wear a hat? Elephant wore a cowboy hat. Oh, okay. Well, now somebody later uses their Nostradamus brain to say elephant wearing a cowboy hat is actually George W. Bush, the Republican governor of Texas, who then became president. Blah, blah, blah. There's that level. There's pattern recognition.
Yeah.
Again, when looking at things like when we talk about the FIFA corruption.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there's a reference that you forgot. And one thing is around the World Trade Center is that the World Trade Center had been attacked before. And I'm thinking specifically of a lot of people will hear Biggie Smalls and this song Juicy.
Right.
And they'll hear this song and they'll be at the club, they're listening to it, they'll have a mashup or whatever will come up. And there's a line in it where he says, blow up like the World Trade. And there's people who think that there is some sort of Illuminati that Biggie Smalls was a part of that he was then murdered of because he knew that the World Trade Center would be attacked. When no, the World Trade Center had already been attacked. It was just not as successful as the second World Trade Center attack, right?
Yeah.
The next level of it, which is the craziest part, is what I like to call, and which is what I think the Simpsons actually have.
What's that?
The Curse of Apollo.
Okay.
Okay, and that is from Greek myth and tragedy.
Yeah.
All right, do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I want you to explain it to me.
Okay, all right, but that's a whole show.
I was going to yes end you, but then I said
know.
no.
Okay, I know.
I'm teaching you what not to do in improv.
I'm talking about Cassandra.
Yes.
Okay, who is a referenced in a lot of Taylor Swift songs, but she was a Trojan princess from the Trojan War. And basically, Cassandra gets offered a gift by the Greek god Apollo, who is the god of the sun, music, and prophecy. He gives her the gift of prophecy, so she would have sex with him.
Yeah.
And she takes the gift of prophecy, and she goes, I'm not having sex with you. And there's a bunch of other versions of this that are a lot worse and a lot nicer. Depends on what level you're listening to this when it comes grade-wise. And anyway, he realizes that once he's given her the gift of prophecy, he can't take it away.
Yeah.
Once a gift is given, you can't take it back.
Yep.
However, he can poison it. And what he does is he makes it so no one will ever believe that anything that she says could ever become true.
Yeah.
He makes people believe that she is just a mad woman.
So then sometimes, let's say, for the last 10 years, your husband walks around your house screaming, I am Cassandra, every day, all day. Anybody? Just me?
Yeah, because Cassandra then spends the rest of all of Greek mythology and some Roman mythology basically yelling spoilers at people who don't fucking listen to her.
Yeah.
I have some examples here. She is the one who tells Paris to not go to Sparta to meet Helen of Troy, and definitely to not steal Helen of Troy and bring her back to Troy, because that's Helen of Sparta, motherfucker. She tells the Trojans that the wooden horse that's sitting in front of their walls is full of soldiers, and to not bring it inside of the walls. And they go, shut up, lady. Who would ever vote for a woman? Then she predicts that King Agamemnon will be murdered by his wife. And he says, shut up, lady. You're my concubine now. And he drags her back to his home island, where she is then murdered next to him. She also tried to warn Odysseus that he was going to spend 10 years trying to get home. And she predicts that her cousin Aeneas will escape the destruction of Troy. She'll found a settlement in Italy, and that his descendants will eventually create a place that will be known as Rome. All of that is from one lady. And yes, I'm leaving out the Ajax part. It's horrific and it's horrifying. And I don't know why most of Greek mythology is based on that one action. Anyway, this is Cassandra, but this is also the Curse of Apollo.
Yeah.
And the Simpsons have this because everyone goes to it to not listen to it.
Yeah.
To just, ha ha ha, this is funny. Wouldn't it be funny?
Wouldn't it be crazy?
Oh, that would be crazy. But the thing is, we've also now ended, I think this has been an issue with America and how we view the news and everything in general. And it's kind of Jon Stewart's fault to a degree in The Daily Show, and maybe mine as well, which is we have a level of this is so absurd, ha ha, not this is so absurd, now I'm mad. We should maybe, I don't know, pitchfork something?
We're not allowed to say that.
Well,
That's
torch
why.
and pitchfork. No. Change. And instead we go, ha 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 ha. Who was this brought to us by? Like, that is how it kind of runs. Does that make sense?
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. That's how The Simpsons may have predicted 9/11.
Maybe.
But there is a different Fox show that actually, like, basically nailed the 9/11 prediction.
Wait, what?
Like 6 months before 9/11, and nobody even talks about it.
Which one?
Okay. There was you love the X-Files.
I do love the X-Files.
You know how the X-Files had a spinoff called The Lone Gunman?
Yes.
Okay. In that show, they have an episode called Pilot.
Okay.
It aired on March 4th, 2001. And in that show, they have government rogue agents from a rogue agency remotely taking over airplanes to crash them into the World Trade Center to justify a new war.
Wait, shut up. Really?
Yeah. In this show, the plot was foiled. Like 9/11 doesn't happen in the show, but legit 6 months before 9/11, on Fox, they predicted. That's why when Condoleezza Rice sat in front of Congress, it was like no one could have predicted 9/11.
You're like, except for the writers of the X-Files offshoot?
Yes, and also your own agency, which wrote Osama bin Laden determined to attack inside of the United States in a report. So it's like that. But you know what? We've covered a lot of different things. So can I let me just explain to you now how Kermit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Tell me this, Kermit Lord.
I'm going to tell you this. Okay, because I feel like people sat through so much.
We've need to. Is this going to bring the vibes up?
Well, we live in the timeline where Kermit lives. So, according to the Wikipedia entry for the 2002 made-for-TV Muppet movie, it's a very Muppet Christmas movie. Mm-hmm. This is verbatim. The movie was filmed after the September 11th attacks.
Okay.
All right. One scene set in a version of 2003 where Kermit the Frog was never born. It shows the Twin Towers in the skyline behind him through a window while he and Miss Piggy are having dinner. So it's set in 2000. This is shot after 2001.
Got it.
Set in 2003 in a world where Kermit was never born. And you can see that the Twin Towers are there.
So it's implying that if he was never born, the towers would have never fallen?
Yes. So that's why this is my absolute favorite fan theory of all time. It's the greatest one in history because it doesn't say that Kermit did 9/11.
No.
But it's chaos theory, right? Like a butterfly flaps its wings in a swamp, and maybe that butterfly's wings moved a frog egg just far enough that it didn't become a tadpole.
Yeah.
Right? And then that tadpole doesn't grow up to learn how to play banjo. And then that tadpole playing banjo frog doesn't fight against a crazy man who has a frog-legged restaurant. And then that frog-legged restaurant man ends up not pivoting towards oil. And then the oil doesn't get involved with Saudi Arabia. And then all these different things happen. So Osama bin Laden gets to drive his armored, it was like armored caterpillar bulldozers into Iraq.
What?
That's one of the reasons why 9/11 happened.
Okay.
Because we didn't respect it. It's a whole weird thing with Osama. Someday maybe.
Maybe not today, though.
Not today. But
I don't think I can handle it today.
I don't think any of us could. Because you know why, Mrs. P?
Why?
Because we live in today, a world where Kermit lived and 9/11 happened. As predicted by The Simpsons.
Have a great week, guys.
Yeah, guys, have a great week. And we'll see you next week right here on Too Many Tabs every Sunday at noon.